Have you ever looked at someone's actions and thought, why would they do that? Or maybe you've caught yourself reacting in ways you couldn't fully explain, feeling drawn to certain people, avoiding certain situations, or making choices that didn't seem logical in the moment. The truth is, much of human behavior is not driven by conscious thought. Beneath every decision, every reaction, every attraction, and every fear lies a hidden psychological story. Today, you're about to uncover the hidden truths of human behavior, the forces shaping what people do, often without realizing it. This isn't about judgment, it's about understanding the invisible psychology that guides us all. Once you see these truths, you begin to understand others more deeply, and yourself more honestly. The first hidden truth is that people don't respond to reality, they respond to their perception of reality. This single truth shapes everything. Two people can experience the exact same situation but interpret it completely differently. Why? Because the mind filters information through memories, past experiences, beliefs, and subconscious expectations. If someone grew up in a chaotic or unstable environment, they may interpret a neutral comment as criticism. If someone has been encouraged and supported throughout life, they may interpret that same comment as helpful feedback. Perception is a lens, and every lens is colored by the past. Understanding this can completely transform the way you view conflict, relationships, and communication. People are not reacting to what is, they're reacting to what their mind believes it is. Another hidden truth is that every human action, yes, every single one, is driven by emotional need. Logic is the explanation we give ourselves afterward. Whether someone seeks validation, avoids confrontation, chases success, withdraws from love, or becomes overly competitive, behind each behavior is an emotional need, the need to feel safe, seen, respected, valued, or in control. Even anger, one of the most misunderstood emotions, is rarely about rage itself. Anger is often a mask for fear, hurt, or a feeling of powerlessness. When you start looking beneath the surface, behaviors that once seemed confusing suddenly make sense. You begin to see the unspoken emotional motivations that guide people's actions far more powerfully than logic ever could. A profound truth researchers emphasize is that humans are social creatures before they are rational creatures. From prehistoric times, survival depended on being part of a tribe. Rejection meant danger. This primal wiring still lives inside us today. This is why social approval feels rewarding, and social rejection feels painful. Neuroscientists have found that social pain activates the same region of the brain as physical pain. No wonder people fear embarrassment more than failure. No wonder people follow trends, mimic behaviors, or avoid standing out. The need to belong is ancient, powerful, and deeply embedded. When someone feels included, their confidence rises. When someone feels excluded, their entire behavior changes, sometimes subtly, sometimes drastically. Another truth is that humans crave certainty, even when uncertainty might hold better outcomes. The unknown feels threatening. Predictability feels safe. This is why many people stay in jobs they dislike, relationships that don't fulfill them, or habits that hurt them. The comfort of familiarity often outweighs the fear of change. Psychologists call this the status quo bias. People cling to what they know because the brain is wired to prioritize safety over potential reward. Change requires courage not because change itself is dangerous, but because uncertainty feels dangerous. Realizing this hidden truth helps you understand why people resist growth, avoid new opportunities, or become defensive when confronted with new ideas. Then there's the powerful truth that humans judge with emotion first and justify with logic later. You think you're being objective, but the brain makes snap judgments milliseconds before you're even aware of them. This is why your first impression of someone is so hard to change. The emotional brain reacts instinctively, safe, unsafe, attractive, untrustworthy, long before logic steps in. These judgments are not always accurate, but they are fast, and they influence everything from friendships to job interviews to attraction. When you understand that people react emotionally before logically, you understand why persuasion, conflict resolution, and connection all depend on emotional intelligence more than intellectual intelligence. Another hidden truth is that the human mind hates cognitive dissonance, which is the uncomfortable feeling of holding two conflicting beliefs. When faced with contradiction, the mind doesn't seek truth, it seeks comfort. To protect itself, the brain will distort memories, rationalize mistakes, or change beliefs entirely. This is why people defend flawed decisions, stay committed to false information, or deny evidence that challenges their worldview. It's not ignorance, it's self-protection. Once you understand this phenomenon, you begin to see why debates rarely change people's minds and why self-awareness is so rare. The mind wants congruence, not correctness. A profound truth researchers emphasize is that humans reveal more through their contradictions than their intentions. Someone might say, "I don't care what people think," yet constantly seek approval. Someone might say, "I'm fine," while their behavior screams the opposite. Human beings often hide their real feelings, sometimes even from themselves. The real clues are in what they do, not what they say. If a person consistently avoids vulnerability, it often means they fear emotional exposure. If someone always tries to impress others, it often reflects a deep insecurity. Understanding human contradictions helps you read people more accurately and compassionately. Here's another hidden truth. Most people don't want honesty, they want reassurance. Honesty threatens the ego, reassurance protects it. This is why people seek friends who validate their feelings, partners who soothe their insecurities, and environments where their beliefs aren't challenged. Human beings want to feel right, supported, and emotionally safe. Pure honesty, even when helpful, can feel threatening unless delivered with empathy. This doesn't mean honesty should be avoided, it means the way honesty is delivered matters enormously. People accept truth more easily when they feel understood first. Another deep truth is that every human carries invisible wounds from their past, and these wounds shape behavior in the present. Trauma, rejection, humiliation, neglect, these experiences leave psychological fingerprints. Someone who experienced emotional instability might become controlling. Someone who grew up unseen may crave attention. Someone who faced constant criticism may become a perfectionist. No one escapes childhood without emotional scars. The difference is whether those scars are healed or are still active. When you recognize that people's behaviors are often attempts to protect old wounds, you gain a new level of understanding and compassion. Yet another powerful truth is that humans are masters of self-deception. The mind lies to protect itself. People tell themselves stories. "I'm not hurt. I'm not jealous. I don't care." But beneath these self-narratives are emotions too painful or confusing to face. Denial is one of the mind's oldest survival tools. When someone insists they are unaffected, it often means the opposite. Understanding this hidden truth helps you see past masks, not to judge, but to understand the emotional reality beneath. A fascinating truth is that behavior is far more predictable than people think. When researchers studied habits, routines, and decision patterns, they found that most human behavior follows consistent psychological principles. People avoid pain, seek pleasure, and crave connection. They follow habits because habits reduce mental effort. They repeat emotional patterns because the familiar feels safe, even if it's harmful. Understanding these patterns allows you to predict behavior, not because people are simple, but because human emotions follow universal rules. Another truth is that memory is not a recording, it is a reconstruction. People don't remember events exactly as they happened. They remember the story their mind built around the event. Emotions, biases, and later experiences reshape memories over time. This is why two people can remember the same situation completely differently. Memory bends to protect us, to maintain identity, and to support the narrative we tell ourselves. Realizing this helps you understand why arguments about the past rarely lead anywhere. Each person is arguing from a different internal version of the event. One of the deepest truths of all is that the desire to feel valued is one of the strongest human motivators. People want to feel chosen, appreciated, respected, and significant. When someone feels undervalued, their behavior shifts. They withdraw, act out, compete for attention, or disconnect emotionally. Every human being wants to matter. When you make someone feel valued, their entire demeanor transforms. They open up, they trust more, they listen more. This is one of the most powerful insights you can ever use in relationships, leadership, or communication. Another fundamental truth is that humans are driven by stories, not information. Facts inform, but stories shape identity, beliefs, and behavior. This is why religions use parables, cultures use myths, and leaders use narratives. The human brain is wired to understand the world through storytelling. Every person carries an internal narrative about who they are: strong, broken, abandoned, worthy, unlovable, capable.
This narrative shapes their every decision. When you understand someone's internal story, you understand their behavior. One of the most surprising hidden truths is that people see others through the lens of how they see themselves. A kind person sees kindness. A suspicious person sees threats. A wounded person sees rejection. A confident person sees opportunity. Human beings project their internal world outward. What someone sees in you often tells you more about them than about yourself. Understanding this helps you detach from other people's projected judgments and see yourself more clearly. Lastly, one of the most important hidden truths is this: everyone is fighting a silent internal battle you know nothing about. Fear of failure, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough, fear of disappointment, fear of the future. Human beings carry invisible weights, unseen struggles, unspoken worry.
This truth alone should be enough to inspire empathy, patience, and compassion toward others and toward yourself. In the end, understanding the hidden truths of human behavior doesn't just help you understand others, it helps you understand yourself. It helps you see why you react the way you do, why patterns repeat in your life, why certain people trigger you, and why healing old wounds leads to emotional freedom. The more you understand these truths, the more consciously and compassionately you can navigate the world. Thank you so much for watching. If this deep dive into the hidden truths of human behavior gave you clarity or opened your eyes to how people really work, please like, share, and subscribe for more powerful psychological insights. Remember, understanding others begins with understanding yourself, and every step you take towards self-awareness reshapes your entire life.